Hi there. Day 85, I'm getting near the end here. I have to confess I didn't do much today. I played golf with my wife. Managed to get out of playing golf tomorrow. She's going with some friends. I managed to get out of that. My granddaughter's birthday this evening, so didn't do much. I submitted some of my Korean writing for correction at our exchange at Link, and I got the corrections back. I haven't had a chance to look at them. So tomorrow I've got to put some real effort in. I have a discussion lined up with Clara, one of our tutors. Someone asked me again, how do I type Korean on the iPad? So I can't really show that because the light shining on the iPad, I can't really show it, but it's extremely simple. You can choose different keyboards for the iPad as you can on a Mac. I don't know on other computers. So I can choose Korean. I have a Russian keyboard, a Czech, Spanish, Chinese, you name it. Once you are in that language keyboard, then the little dictation icon is linked to the language of the keyboard. So then I can either type in Korean, and I type by pointing my finger at the keys on the keyboard that are on the screen of the iPad, or I can dictate, and then it'll produce the text more or less accurately. So I mean, it's just very simple. If you have an iPad, it's very handy. And as I said, you just avoid all the mouse action. So it's really quite convenient. Yeah, so I hope to do more writing tomorrow. I again thank my son for basically shaming me into starting to write. I have been writing more now, and I feel more confident when reading. So, and I know, as I've said before, I know that writing is important. I've just been too lazy to do it. That's about it. Today was a very slow day. And quite honestly, it's now 9:30. I'm going to have a peek at Schuster Live, see what's happening there. After a while, you see all these politicians. I must say the politicians in Ukraine. I mean, like this one fellow who was a candidate for presidency, he was in discussion with some guy who was involved in demonstrations in Nikolaev, and he more or less said, you talk pretty tough, what if I show up? And the guy said, well, you just come. So next thing you know, the guy's in Nikolaev, and the next thing you know, there's a fight going there. I mean, the degree of sort of bravado, bully tactics, lack of compromise, exaggerating to make a point, it's amazing. I don't see how they will ever achieve any compromise. That's just my impression. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's a sport. It's almost like a blood sport. But I mean, obviously, my hope is that everything calms down and that they come to some kind of solution. Certainly, opinion polls, even very recently, don't show a majority of people in the East being in favor of joining up with Russia. But there are obviously some very active people who represent a segment of the population and who have some resources, whether they come from Yanukovych's party, hangers-on with them, or oligarchs, or whatever other sources. They're certainly keeping all that action alive there. So we will just hope, I mean, really, it's not up to the Americans, the Europeans, or the Russians to tell the Ukrainians how to run their affairs. And hopefully sane, minds will prevail. The subject of language always comes up, and it's kind of presented sometimes in like, you can't forbid me from using my language. Well, of course, no one is forbidding the Russian speakers from using their language. On the other hand, I'm curious about the issue of the language of instruction in universities. So I actually sent an email to two Eastern Ukrainian universities, one in Donetsk and one in Kharkov. And I said, here I am, Canada, blah, blah, blah. They have websites in English, and there's some leading universities in the East, in Kharkov and elsewhere. And I can't remember which ones I sent them to. And I said, can you tell me what is the language of instruction of the courses at your university? Haven't got an answer yet, so I don't know. But it seems to me that if what the Minister of Education said in that interview that I heard about a month ago, that in the universities they only offer courses in English and Ukrainian, then I think that's a real problem. On the other hand, I hear these complaints, or the Donetsk Republic or whatever, they're saying, we're tired of our school books teach us history that's anti-Russian and that glorifies people like Bandera and stuff like that. Well, I mean, Yanukovych has been in power for the last however many years, so it's not, you can't tie that necessarily to the group that's now in power in Kiev and who are in any case an interim government. So I really think that all this talk about referendum is extremely premature. I think there should be a presidential election and then a parliamentary election, and then they deal with their issues. But that's me sitting on the sidelines. I have no influence in what goes on there, and really it's up to them to figure these things out for themselves. But I'm going off to listen to Schuster Live, and he normally has two people from opposing camps, so the Eastern Ukrainian and the Western Ukrainian, and they're going at it hammer and tongs. And it's good for my Russian and good for my Ukrainian, which is gradually improving. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.